Hello, our dear friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
And I've been, I got like 3 videos in my head to do that I've been wanting to get to do, but there's so much happening news-wise that I feel it all is tying in together, that we need to keep talking about things that are happening here on a daily basis. And our brother David over at Adapt 2030 did an interview with Dr. Paul Cottrell, and they were talking about the food shortages and everything going on. And I know a lot of you guys asked us to watch it. We really don't get a chance to watch much because we pretty much work all day long, and into the night too. But we did have ourselves some veggie fajitas, and so while we were eating, we took a look at it. It was good, and it's what's happening. Things are changing. Although he was talking about it, David and Dr. Paul were talking about it more from a GSM, a grand solar minimum perspective. When I look at the comments down below, a lot of people are saying that they don't think things are natural. And, I think there's a combo going on, but I think most of what we've seen right now, let's just say it's artificially flavored.
Yeah, definitely with certain things covering up certain reasons and certain modalities covering up certain truths. And that's what they do best. These entities or the controllers, or I like to call them the MFers, like money funders, they have ways of covering things up and making something organic out to be something it's not.
You've heard it said that the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, I think it's our monetary system that's the root of all evil when you get down to it, because it's becoming apparently evident to more and more people, as we've been saying, that the dice are loaded, the game is rigged, and now people are trying to break the system down in different ways as they're catching on. Another thing that's been going on for a while is this amazing art of war maneuvers that have been going on by the fine dining ware country.
There's a lot of moves they're making that are really curious.
And unless you're looking at things like this is freightwaves.com, American shipper. Unless you're in the industry, you're probably not looking into this, unless you're into commodities as well. But when we look at what has going on, it's really a masterful stroke. But I don't think they're doing this totally on their own. I think they have help from we would normally say help from above, but maybe we'll say help from below.
Yeah, I think that's more like it.
It's wild what's going on. So data is revealing that at least 2/3 of the world's top 50 container ports are owned by Chinese, directly or supported by Chinese investments, up from roughly 20% a decade ago. Think about it. In 1 decade's time, they've gone from 20%. Wow, that's huge, to 2/3. That they are working their butts off. They have a plan and they're sticking to it.
They are, and I think because in many ways they've done this over and over and over, and they just keep expanding the plans.
Yeah, the world's largest shipping container line, Costco, is Chinese state-owned. And again, this is fascism, guys. That's when the state and the business is one and the same. That's not communism. This is... We think it's communism because they say it's the Chinese Communist Party. But look what they're doing. They're taking capitalism to all new heights and in controlling markets, manipulating things. As we were saying, many people don't even realize the war that's underway covertly in Africa and also in Latin America to control these areas that have a lot of natural resources, and it's going to get to be a lot more valuable. As we were talking about B. Gates, right, and buying up about 250,000 acres of prime farmland. And I shot David a text message earlier today, and because I didn't know if he saw the video or not, and said, why would he be buying up Louisiana if Louisiana keeps getting smashed by hurricanes and stuff? And David says it's one of the first places to plant during the season, even earlier by 1 to 2 weeks than Mississippi or Alabama. So as the growing season is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, being able to grow longer is going to help on a massive scale. Now, we can do public works, as we've talked about, and create massive amounts of greenhouses, and we could alleviate all of this. There is a guy in Nebraska that I've shown several times. He's probably close to 90 now, but it's amazing what he grows in Nebraska. Better citrus, tastier citrus, more abundant citrus than in Florida. It's because of the greenhouses being set 5 feet underground and using geothermal. Our governments could do this in a heartbeat.
Well, because they have the money, they have the resources, they have everything that they need to do to put these plans into action. If they wanted to make a change, they could make a change.
So as we were saying, they have been strategically buying up ports, and again, the state and the corporations, they're all one and the same. Ultimately, when you get down to it, there's no real freedom over in that system. And this will shock a lot of people. Israel turned down U.S. request to inspect Haifa port after deal with China. Officials warned the U.S. Navy may not visit the Haifa area if a Chinese state-run company takes up management in the city's port. So Israel's government declined a request last year by the Mr. T administration. We're going to start using that. Thank you, Shantae. Yeah. By Mr. T's administration to allow the U.S. Coast Guard to inspect the port at Haifa for Chinese surveillance capabilities. The revelation by EEARTS on Monday marks the latest development in a 3-year disagreement between Israel's government and the U.S. officials over a Chinese majority state-owned company assuming management of the port this year. So think about this, because again, they're one and the same over there. The military, the corporate. You might as well, we could relabel the CCP, and instead of, the Communist Party, it's the corporate party. Because it's really all about securing resources right now to ensure exactly the opposite of what the Project for a New American Century wanted to secure. If you guys know about PNAC, going back to 1997, before the Bush administration came in, the second Bush administration, they talked about 7 nations that would have to be taken over in 5 years, et cetera, et cetera. And, all the wars that were to come in order to secure American USA dominance on the globe all the way to 2100. Well, this is being outplayed right now, by the country from which the art of war comes from.
Mm-hmm. It has. And it's just a matter of them rearranging vocabulary words and making things sound a certain way so that the public can either overlook it or accept it. And, I just keep thinking back to the Native Americans and how that was kind of all overtaken and then covered up, to teach our children that it was something that it wasn't. And I just feel this is a bigger scale. It's just happening again.
So, here's the big item on this. The United States has cautioned that its Navy may no longer use the site if Chinese state-owned company takes over the management of the port, right? So whose Navy would be there then? That's huge. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine Chinese Navy ships docking in Israel? Wow. That's a big change. That's a massive, massive change. But it's really not just that China has played this game so well. They have help. Yeah. Because what it is, these true financiers of the global stage, they want this to happen. Their whole plan has been to make the Babylon the Great scenario from Revelation come about. When you look at, who instigated even Israel coming back into existence, it was somebody whose name means red shield. you guys know, that the Balfour Declaration. So, all this is part of a much bigger plan that's on a much longer timeline, and one in which you're going to see, United States global dominance disappear. It'll wane and then eventually go, and the dominance of this what we call the Chinese Communist Party, and it's really the Chinese corporate fascist party when you get down to it. That's what's coming into dominance in that whole system. Social credit scores, being told what you can do, what you can't do. Basically absolutely no freedom at all. And this is why they want that, because that system's already in place. Now they just want to shift it from that country to the entire globe. Interesting too, because we've seen Brighteon and Bitchute go crazy with, Bitchute can't keep up with all the people coming to Bitchute. So it's like every time I try to upload a video, 1 out of every 3 or 4 gets uploaded, and I got to try again, and then maybe 1 out of every 2 will get uploaded. Brighteon's doing a much better job. But regardless of that, Alphabet shares soared a new record high level after crushing expectations. So who is Alphabet? Well, you guys probably know. I mean, they own Google. Thus, they own YouTube as well. And, the corporate giants, they're getting beyond mammoth. They are, we are talking true monopolies. And this is what's happening. And by the way, SpaceX, their prototype blew up. That wasn't a good one. So I personally would not book a flight, right now on SpaceX at the moment.
No, I'd give it some time.
Yeah, I'd rather rely on the Palladians, actually. And by the way, Jeff Bezos is going to step down as Amazon CEO later this year. Interesting, because we saw BG step down like last year, didn't we?
Did.
What are these guys doing? What do they know? Well, I guess, with 540 extra billion in their pockets, maybe they're just going to do a little farming.
Yeah, they could just retire for now, go on days off.
And by the way, look at this concept art of the new Amazon building there. That is pretty wild. It's spiraling, and some people have equated it to DNA and all. Very, very curious shape and artistic, and apparently very green, because I guess they want to give the impression that these big corporate giants are really green.
Yeah, they want to pretend that they're kind of getting along with the planet, even though there's all that concrete and foreign substance in there.
So I'm going to end on this note and share this channel with you guys. They have over 511,000 subscribers. It's Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Pioneer Life in 21st Century. They are in Missouri, and they are homesteading, and they know their stuff. These guys are great. They're really good. So you can learn a ton from them. And this is, Cindy and I's intention too.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn probably a lot from these guys, and then we'll teach you guys.
Yeah, we started to attempt something, but it was in an area that we were just doing it so we could be close to family, and it was not going to work. So, we're going to be heading to where we think farming will be something that will stay productive even during, the harder times coming up. Every area has its challenges, as we've been saying. So you could see some of the topics there: off-grid composting toilet, solar power workshop build, all sorts of different stuff. They're a really cool couple, extremely knowledgeable. So hopefully you guys will check out their channel.
Yes, we do hope so.
As always, thanks for being part of the family. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and on Patreon. And if you need to reach us, set up an appointment. It's EEARTS at ProtonMail or evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. As always, guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.